Scott Test, good morning. And the latest information we just learned is that this was not just people inside of this restaurant nearby. This was a massive party out in front of this restaurant where this shooting happened. Again, 8 people shot, at least 3 killed. We're about to go live here with the press conference with the spokesperson for Glendale Police, so I'm going to step aside.
Good morning. My name is Jose Santiago. I'm here representing the Glendale Police Department. I want to first start off by saying that this was indeed an isolated incident, that there was no threat to the general public. We still do have suspects that are outstanding in this situation, but again, this was an isolated incident. This all started at 7:45 on Sunday evening at a concert that took place at the Camarón Gigante, which is just behind me here at 57th Drive. I can confirm that there are 3 individuals who died here at the scene. All those individuals are males. Their ages are 17, 21, and 29. I can tell you that the 17-year-old and the 29-year-old are brothers. I can also confirm that we have 5 individuals who were injured in all of this. Those that were injured were 2 females. Their ages are 20 and 21. The other 3 were males, ages 20, 23, and 16. The 16-year-old was the most critically injured. We can tell you that that individual did have surgery overnight, but they are expected to recover from that incident. What I have been able to get from detectives is that, once again, this started at a concert here at the venue. During that concert, there were a group of individuals that began fighting. At one point, those individuals were escorted out of the venue. That fight escalated out in the parking lot, and those individuals began firing shots at one another. That's when this became a chaotic situation. I can tell you our officers were on the scene within 3 minutes of the first shots being fired, and everything was under control within minutes after that. We are very pleased with how our officers handled the situation, but that said, we still have outstanding individuals out there that we are wanting to not only question, but obviously get off the streets. We're asking for any individuals who have any information to please continue to supply those. We know that there's a lot of social media videos that are being circulated. A lot of them have made it into our hands. We ask that you continue to go ahead and provide us with as much information as possible so we can get these individuals off the street. Once again, we do want the general public to know that this was an isolated incident. We do not expect there to be a threat to the community as a whole, but we do want these individuals off the street.
How many?
We don't know exactly how many shooters there are. We can tell you that there are at least more than one.
Multiple shooters, though, at the venue?
There were multiple shooters at the venue, yes.
And did these people know each other?
Yes, these are individuals that knew one another. We understand that there was a history of them basically having some bad blood between these individuals. That's how the fight escalated amongst them. And unfortunately, it escalated to the point where we have 3 individuals that died.
Is Glendale Police's investigation looking into the venue itself, how they handled that? I mean, you saw the videos on social media. Very large crowd of people. A lot of people looked like they may have been underage at that time as well. So does Glendale Police's investigation look into that venue and how they handled this?
I can tell you right now, the biggest concentration we have here is the homicide investigation. After that, we'll look into how the venue handled the rest of the situation. Our goal here is to make sure that we get the justice for those who have died here at the scene, and then we'll look into any other future violations after that.
Did anything happen inside?
Okay, we got 2 questions.
Did anything happen inside either?
As far as what we've been told, once the fight broke out, the venue themselves kicked those individuals out, and everything escalated outside in the parking lot area.
Do you know if any of those 3 men who died from multiple fights or were they in fights?
We are still trying to piece that together. We are under the understanding that they were part of the original fight, but we're still trying to piece that together.
Could Glendale Police release any surveillance images of the suspects you guys are looking for?
Right now, we're working with our detectives to get as much information as possible out there. Right now, we were just hoping to get you guys enough information so that the public knew that there wasn't a threat to the community as a whole.
Have next of kin been contacted?
Right now, next of kin hasn't been contacted. Once that's been done, I will release information as far as the names of the individuals who have died.
Any reaction from PD regarding the ages of these victims?
You-
Obviously pretty young.
You know, it's heartbreaking anytime there's a loss of life, especially when you're dealing with juveniles of any type of form. But we're pleased with the response time that our folks had. We're pleased with the response time that our fire department had. This could have been a much worse situation. We're thankful that it didn't escalate even further. Had this not been as close as it was to our department, this could have been a much worse situation. But again, there was a tragedy here where 3 people did lose their lives and 5 others were injured.
This is a relatively new venue or new restaurant, we understand. Have there been any other incidents here prior, and did they react in the way that Glendale PD is to this fight?
To your point, yes, this is a fairly new restaurant. There were other events here, but this is the first time, to my knowledge, that we've had to respond to an incident of this nature. We've never had a shooting or a violent incident of this nature at this restaurant. Again, right now we're concentrating on the homicide situation and getting those individuals off the street, and we're going to look into the actions of the restaurant after that.
Did any officers have to fire their weapons?
No, there were no officers that were injured. No officers had to fire their weapons. Everything was handled within a couple of minutes, and we're pleased with how our officers handled the situation.
A number of people were detained. Jose, are those people cooperating with this investigation?
Everybody we've been talking to has been very cooperative.
This rare May weather we're having, is this complicating your investigation at all? Because all this is outside, obviously.
Yeah, this is a very wide scene because there was quite a bit of gunfire that took place. So yes, it actually does add some complications to the situation, but our officers are doing the best that they can.
Have your officers or investigators so far discovered or found out the type of firearms that were used based off the shell casings that were left behind, or too early to say?
That's too early to say right now.
How long do you expect this to still?
They're going to be out here for some time. I can tell you they've been working since last night, and they're going to be out here throughout the morning.
What information are officers still looking for at this point? What do we can't say?
We really want to narrow down the amount of shooters that we were dealing with. They can tell that by the casings, the types of casings. So once we can narrow down the different types of casings, we can narrow down the types of weapons that are used, and it helps us narrow down the amount of shooters that we're dealing with.
Thank you.
All right, so there's kind of a wrap up at this point on what happened last night. We're learning 2 brothers were 2 of the 3 that were killed. And so all really young people, Tess.
17 is the youngest who's been killed. 16 is among the 5 who are still being treated at the hospital this morning who've been hurt. So we'll continue to check in with David, of course, but that's the very latest out in this shooting. So we've got much more still ahead here on Good Morning.